Appreciate you clicking on this review. I just got back from watching Joker 2, and this movie follows the events set up by the last film where Arthur Fleck is currently in Arkham Asylum awaiting trial for everything he has done, all while at the same time meeting a new love of his life, played by Lady Gaga. Arthur must now do everything in his power to try and win his freedom back. And that's all pretty much. I got any spoilers to you guys? This will be a spoiler-free review. We's for sure gonna have to talk spoilers just because of that wild ending. But backtracking a little bit first. Joker Folie A Deux, or Fettuccine DiGiorno if you're Joker-brained like me. Oh, I follow society's rules, right? This movie sure didn't. But just giving you my thoughts on that first Joker movie. Look, I understand if you're someone who was a big fan of it, but even when I saw it at the time, while I can appreciate a lot of elements thrown into that film, I was someone that walked away kind of puzzled and underwhelmed by it. To me, it didn't really live up to being the Joker origin story I hoped for from a comic book fan perspective. To me, it was a better movie as a character study on someone with mental illness and the way society perceives that. It just happened to also be painted up like a clown and called the Joker. But shows what I know, because that movie ended up making $1 billion. But of course it was. It's a freaking movie about the Joker. It was gonna make money. And well, when you make $1 billion, the studio is gonna come knocking at your door with boatloads of money trying to make you do one more film. And you know what? They actually had me more interested than I was the first time around. Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, that sounds awesome. I was also someone that didn't freak out when it started to look like it was gonna be a musical. I kind of enjoy musicals from time to time. And when the trailer for this movie finally came out and showed off some of those breathtaking sequences and awesome shots of Arthur smiling through a window glass, I fully believed, man, I think they're gonna be able to pull another miracle again. And the joke is on me, buddy, because what the heck was this movie? Sitting in the theater, watching the movie unfold minute by minute, I could not believe this is the direction they decided to take the film and completely waste so much of its potential. I'm gonna get into the things I really disliked about this movie, but trying to stay positive on the things it did do well, the trailer didn't lie. It is a beautifully shot movie. The budget of the first movie was somewhere around $50 to $70 million, and this time around it's in the $150 to $200 million range. It's wonderful lighting and atmosphere it sets up. I really dug the cinematography of this film. It is a great looking movie. When it comes to performances, I knew Lady Gaga would do a wonderful job, and she does. I think she's a talented actress. I really saw that in the movie A Star Is Born. So when she was announced for Harley Quinn, although I love Margot Robbie, I knew this would be another great and different take. And yeah, there's some differences. Whether I like her interpretation of Harley Quinn or not is a different story, but given the direction they were going with for this movie, her performance was great. Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar for his first time performance as Joker, and here he still seems as dedicated and continues to do more. This time around, he leans more into the Arthur Fleck side than Joker. If you were hoping this movie would kind of up the whole Joker side of him, let's backtrack that a little bit, buddy. But if you were someone like me that did enjoy the character study of Arthur and the steps that led him to take on the Joker persona, well, this movie fleshes out that side a little bit more. But really, that's kind of about it. It's beautifully shot, well acted, everything else. What a letdown, man. Let me start off with the story direction for this movie because they really don't do much. In fact, it feels like a lot of the point of the story of Joker 2 is just to really put it in your face that you shouldn't be a fan of Joker 1. And I know that it's going to sound really weird to say, but I want you to think back to when the first Joker movie was coming out if you were someone that was in the online space watching movie news like I was. There was a lot of fear when that first Joker movie was coming out. I don't know if you guys thought, but there were people seriously thinking, I can't go see that Joker movie. There's like a high possibility there's going to be a shooting at the theater because of it. Like, that was a real thing. I remember going to watch Joker in theaters and there was security guards, police officers there. There was even conversations amongst people about, is this really the appropriate movie to give out to the public? Is it sending out the right message? And a lot of Joker 2 feels like it's a response to the criticism the first movie got. It really puts on a platform of, should we be idolizing someone like the Joker? what happens when this type of person builds a following, but more specifically, what happens to the person who starts that movement and can't live up to the shadow of it. It really tries to aim for this grander, higher idea, and look, I'm just gonna say it. It's one of the things I just dislike about this interpretation of Joker. It tries to think a little too hard and a little too grand on what's just kind of supposed to be a clown mob boss that gives a guy in a bat suit a run for his money from time to time. And that's always one of the main reasons I was never too into Joaquin Phoenix's version of the Joker, because he doesn't really feel like comic book Joker to me. There's nothing about him that screams intelligence or that this person can lead a movement and be the Joker that would eventually fight Batman. And even Todd Phillips has said in interviews, oh, this Joker is never gonna meet Batman. He's not even someone that can fight Batman. Like, what is the point of these villain solo movies? Part of the reason they become so interesting and special as characters is because of that other half they go up against, and these solo movies make it so they should never come and cross paths with them. And that always kind of rubs me the wrong way. But man, what a wild choice to kind of have this movie be all about a lot of the criticisms the first movie had and trying to flip it on its head. It's going to be stuff that really alienates people who were fans of that first movie. When it comes to the musical numbers, like I said, I am a fan of musicals. I don't actively go out to watch them, but I love La La Land. I love the movie Grease, High School Musical. Basically, I'm someone who doesn't moan and groan if I know I'm about to watch a musical. Let's see how you pull this off. And in the trailers, I thought there could be something special they do, but a lot of the musical numbers in here are just awkward. They at times even just stop the movie and drag it on. They also just don't really provide much in the context of the film, but the context it does provide was already implied through other sentences, so it's just an added 3-4 minute sequence you have to sit through before you can continue the story. The movie also ends up just repeating a lot of things that the first film brought up about, like, you know, we live in a society, that type of thing where no one cares if you're crazy. We just want to use you for views on TV, exploit you to make movies or things like that. And it really feels like the movie doesn't have much more new to say, and it's forcing its existence. Going back to a little bit of the comic book fan side of me, it's like I wish they could play a little bit more into the Batman mythos. You do have Harvey Dent as a character who gets a lot of screen time in this movie, but honestly doesn't add much than just being someone who exists in the world. Heck, I'm even going to say the same for Harley Quinn. I like Lady Gaga and I think she's a great actress, but I thought her character really didn't add much to the movie. But the biggest crime of all is gonna be that joke of an ending that when it happened, I was sitting there laughing like Arthur going, they thought they were geniuses here, man. This fan theory of an ending that was like around for years actually made it to the final cut. Oh, we're gonna have to dive in so deep about how that ending just makes this entire franchise feel unnecessary now. And again, I hate to be this negative on the movie, but there's a part of me that also feels a little justified now, because I was looked at as kind of a crazy man when that first Joker movie came out, and I was like, well, I don't really like that Joker movie. And big fans of the Joker and people who really thought it was a brilliant film were like, oh, you just don't get it. You're not smart enough. It was a brilliant. And now with this movie, it's going to put a whole different perspective on that first film, and not in a positive way. Part of me even wants to say, if you're just a big fan of that first movie, don't even go into this second one, because it might ruin it for you. So going into Joker 2, I'm going to give action 2 stars. It's very dialogue driven. Even the musical sequences aren't as grand as I was hoping for. They do have beautiful set pieces, but they don't even feel as lively as a musical would. Comedy in the movie, I'm going to give it 2 stars. Arthur's jokes don't really improve, and the funniest thing about it is that ending to me. But other than that, it takes itself very seriously. Drama in the movie, I'm going to give it 1.5 star. I was just not a fan of this story. I totally get what they were going for, and I could see how Todd Phillips thinks that's like a genius idea of questioning this obsession and love fans have for the Joker, but also just kind of feels like a slap in the face for people who enjoy a fictional character. Horror in the movie, I'll give 1 star too. I kind of forgot these movies are rated R. There are some sequences that remind you, but they don't really do much with the rated R factor like they did in the first movie. And suspense in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. There were moments in the courtroom where the Joker has to defend himself that I thought the movie could have really excelled in, but the dragging pace of it just kind of makes those suspenseful moments go away. Casual moviegoers into Joker 2, I'm gonna give it a C-. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it an F. And critically, I'm going to give it a C+. For Joker 2, while I want to tell you to avoid this movie, there are elements and fragments that are still so beautifully shot and done well for a comic book movie. I do recommend at least giving it a shot and renting it at home.
That'll do, Donkey. That'll do.
Again, that's just my opinion on Joker 2, guys. I cannot wait to go into further detail whenever it's time to talk spoilers, because we really have to get into what they were thinking with that ending and the more grander idea they go with for this second movie. But this is what I throw out to you guys. If you're someone who saw Joker 2, were you happy with it? Were you disappointed? Anything, everything, be sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.